How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, isn't Karma a true ass bitch, John Kelly? Now, I have to admit, my royal family, I've been waiting for John Kelly to feel. I've been waiting for him to get that spotlight. I've been waiting for him to be drugged through the mud. So, John Kelly, you said that this queen here was an empty barrel. Sound like you the empty barrel. Then, let's continue on, my royal family. Planned Parenthood Action Fund accused John Kelly of attacking and undermining black women over his remarks on Representative Frederica Wilson. Remember, she's the empty barrel. And I guess you didn't think Karma was going to catch up with you, but it's ironic how things catch up with your evil white ass. So one more, my royal family. John Kelly lies about Frederica Wilson are part of a pattern of not believing black women. Now, isn't it ironic, my royal family? He had made a speech before the world how they love and respect and protect women. And lo and behold, he was holding a secret. His very own woman, the white woman, the very woman that gave birth to him, the very woman that raised him. So, he's covering for a white boy that beat the dog shit out of a couple of white women, and they got proof. And this empty barrel, all of a sudden, he's surprised. So, John Kelly, am I going to drag this out? I got a video for the royal family. I just love how when white folks drag other white folks in the mud. So anyway, my royal family, kick your heels up. And what it says here, he only punched me once. Now keep in the frame of mind what John Kelly said. How much they love and respect they women. How much that they would defend them and protect them. And then he can't stand black women. You know, they had demanded for you to apologize. Karma, she is a bitch. She has a way of showing up in our lives when we least expect it.
How many women have said that? How many women have you heard say that? I've heard too many. How many wives have said that? He only punched me once. The question in the Trump White House tonight is how many punches is too many? Because tomorrow morning, a man who has been accused over the last 2 days of punching his first wife and being physically abusive to his second wife, who got a restraining order against him, will report to work in the Trump White House and spend the entire day at John Kelly's side, as he does every day. And possibly some of that time will be at the president's side, because he is in control of every piece of paper that goes to President Trump. And so he might spend some of tomorrow at President Trump's side. Might do that also. At least that was the plan. That was the plan that the White House announced today when they announced that Rob Porter was resigning his position at the White House, but would not actually leave his job until some unknown date in the unknown future. But the breaking news tonight from the New York Times is the White House saying tomorrow will be Rob Porter's last day. It took this long for the pressure to build so that tomorrow would be his last day instead of who knows when. And all of this is happening because Rob Porter's 2 former wives have decided to tell their stories, stories that they told to the FBI about their former husbands, stories that have prevented him from being cleared by the FBI for the security clearance that every person who ever held that job before him needed in order to hold that job. To hear John Kelly tell it, the man accused of domestic abuse by both of his wives is the best man working in that White House. Rob Porter is a man of true integrity and honor, and I can't say enough good things about him. He is a friend, a confidant, and a trusted professional. I am proud to serve alongside him. John Kelly has never said something so positive about the President of the United States. John Kelly can't say enough good things about him. John Kelly issued that statement yesterday after the Daily Mail published its first report of one of Rob Porter's wives accusing him of physical abuse. Jennifer Willoughby described what happened during one of her arguments with her then husband, Rob Porter. It was just after their first anniversary. She said she walked away from an argument saying, "I'm not going to fight you anymore." And she went to take a shower. He was not done fighting with me. It was a glass shower door. He opened it and dragged me by my shoulders out of the shower to yell. Immediately upon seeing my reaction to that, he released me and apologized, but it doesn't take away that he was angry enough that that happened. Jennifer Willoughby first went public about her abusive marriage in a Facebook post on April 24th last year, 2017, in which she did not mention her husband's name. She wrote, "The first time he called me a effing bitch was on our honeymoon. Less than 2 months after that, I filed a protective order with the police because he punched in the glass on our front door while I was locked inside. We bought a house to make up for it. Just after our 1-year anniversary, he pulled me naked and dripping from the shower to yell at me. When I tried to get help, I was counseled to consider carefully how what I said might affect his career, and so I kept my mouth shut and stayed. If he was a monster all the time, perhaps it would have been easier to leave, but he could be kind and sensitive, and so I stayed. He cried and apologized, and so I stayed. He offered to get help and even went to a few counseling sessions and therapy groups, and so I stayed. He belittled my intelligence and destroyed my confidence, and so I stayed. I felt ashamed and trapped, and so I stayed. Friends and clergy didn't believe me, and so I stayed. I was pregnant, and so I stayed. I lost the pregnancy and became depressed, and so I stayed." John Kelly knew all of that, every word of that, yesterday, when he said, "Rob Porter is a man of true integrity and honor, and I can't say enough good things about him." John Kelly knew all of that yesterday when he said, "I'm proud to serve alongside him." That's the same John Kelly who said this.
You know, when I was a kid growing up, a lot of things were sacred in our country. Women were sacred, looked upon with great honor.
In the Boston neighborhood in Brighton where John Kelly grew up, and in the Boston neighborhood where I grew up, around the same time, the wives who said he only punched me once were the lucky ones. Most wives in our neighborhoods in those days were treated lovingly and respectfully by their husbands and their entire families. But the ones who got beaten and abused were lucky if they only got punched once. If they only got one black eye, like Rob Porter's first wife, who publicly released a photograph of her black eye today. When John Kelly and I were kids in Boston, the Catholic Church told the beaten wives they couldn't get divorced, no matter how many times they got punched, no matter how many black eyes they got, because divorce was a mortal sin. The priests told the wives to hang in there and be patient, and surely their husbands would mature and get better. And that's what happened to Rob Porter's wives. In this case, it was the Mormon Church telling them both to hang in there. His first wife, Colby Holderness, who told her story to the Daily Mail today, said, "For years I would go to Mormon bishops and I would try to find the words to explain what was going on, but I was at a loss beyond the explanation that he got physical with me." Here's what one former Mormon bishop said about Rob Porter yesterday after the first report of Rob Porter abusing one of his wives. Senator Orrin Hatch said, "It's incredibly discouraging to see such a vile attack on such a decent man. Shame on any publication that would print this. I know Rob. I've known him for years, both as a close friend and as a personal advisor. He is kind and considerate toward all." Today, Rob Porter's first wife said that when she finally stopped talking to Mormon bishops about the abuse, her attitude changed. "It wasn't until I went to a secular counselor at my workplace one summer and told him what was going on that he was the first person, and not a male religious leader, who told me that what was happening was not okay." In telling her story to the Daily Mail today, Colby Holderness released a photograph that she took and emailed to herself so that she would have a record of the black eye she says her husband, Rob Porter, gave her when he hit her with that first punch. This is a very, very difficult photograph to look at. Here is what she told The Intercept today about how it happened. "He only punched me once in the eye. He threw me down on the bed and punched me in the face. I think he was shocked that he had lost control to that extent." After that news story appeared today with that photograph, Senator Orrin Hatch, the former Mormon bishop, released a new statement about Rob Porter, who was Senator Hatch's chief of staff before he went to work in the White House. "I am heartbroken by today's allegations and every interaction I've had with Rob. He has been courteous, professional, and respectful. My staff loved him, and he was a trusted advisor. I do not know the details of Rob's personal life. Domestic violence in any form is abhorrent and unacceptable. I am praying for Rob and those involved." So yesterday, Orrin Hatch says it's, quote, "a vile attack on such a decent man. Shame on any publication that would print this." And today, Orrin Hatch says, "I do not know the details of Rob's personal life." As outrageous as Senator Hatch's statement was on yesterday's very convincing abuse that Rob Porter was accused of, Senator Hatch at least had the decency to change his staff-written statement today to something neutral, something that doesn't call Rob Porter's former wives liars. And then finally tonight, at 9:30 p.m., after a full day of this, full day of the black eye picture being out there, that's how long it took. 9:30 p.m., John Kelly finally got around to issuing a new statement, but he tried to have it both ways by saying he stands by his previous statement. John Kelly's new statement says, "I was shocked by the new allegations released today against Rob Porter. There is no place for domestic violence in our society. I stand by my previous comments of the Rob Porter that I have come to know since becoming chief of staff, and believe every individual deserves the right to defend their reputation. I accepted his resignation earlier today and will ensure a swift and orderly transition." John Kelly is reported to have spent the entire day inside the White House arguing against the possibility of Rob Porter losing his White House job over this. That's after the black eye photograph was all over this White House today. John Kelly fought for Rob Porter's job. Reports indicate that John Kelly was actively fighting to save Rob Porter's job after all these accusations became public, including the one-punch black eye. Because for John Kelly, apparently, one punch isn't enough. One black eye photograph of one former wife of a White House official was not enough for John Kelly. That's why he fought today to save Rob Porter's job. It wasn't enough. Yesterday, Rob Porter said, he said this in response to the Daily Mail's first story: "I will not comment about these matters beyond stating that many of these allegations are slanderous and simply false." That was yesterday. Today, in announcing that he will give up that job, and as the New York Times is reporting, give up that job tomorrow at the White House, after maybe a full day at the White House, Rob Porter issued this new statement saying this: "These outrageous allegations are simply false. I took the photos given to the media nearly 15 years ago, and the reality behind them is nowhere close to what is being described. I have been transparent and truthful about these vile claims, but I will not further engage publicly with a coordinated smear campaign. And there you see Rob Porter, the man John Kelly still admires so much, lying in his written statement today. He has not been transparent about anything involving these stories of domestic abuse. He has not answered one question about them. He has not offered any alternative stories. He simply says that the allegations are false, and that is not being transparent. And so Rob Porter will go to work tomorrow in the White House, and he will pack his boxes. But he will take his place in that White House tomorrow beside John Kelly, working for a president whose first wife once accused him of rape, working for a president who is a self-confessed sexual assaulter who was caught on video bragging about his preferred methods of sexual assault. In other words, he will go to a White House where he fits right in. And he will see his new girlfriend when he goes to work tomorrow, because the Daily Mail and other news organizations are reporting that Rob Porter is now dating White House Communications Director Hope Hicks, and that is relevant for this reason. One of Hope Hicks' duties this week was co-writing John Kelly's statement yesterday about Rob Porter, which, with that in mind, co-written by the girlfriend, is worth reading once again. This is the statement of the White House Chief of Staff defending a White House staff member against the charge of domestic abuse, and it is a statement tonight that John Kelly says he still stands by, and it was co-written by the accused man's current girlfriend. Rob Porter is a man of true integrity and honor, and I can't say enough good things about him. He is a friend, a confidant, and a trusted professional. I am proud to serve alongside him. Our panel will join us.
Wow. Well, John Kelly, what you got to say for yourself now? You see, is that ironic, my royal family? How karma can catch up with you. You don't know where it's going to come from. You just don't know. And, where is that other one? No, not there. John Kelly, you're nothing more than an empty burrow. And what this other white boy proved is your nature. The nature of how y'all really think about your women. So, when you are busy undermining black women because you have disdain for them, you forgot about karma. You truly did. You talked about what you ain't gonna do. Oh, you feeling the day. Oh, yes, you is. They dragging you all through the media. Oh, yes. And the royal family is going to drag you too. So anyway, my royal family, isn't this ironic? So, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.